Ungaro vowed to take legal action against Trump and her pedophile husband. The ex-girlfriend of a former modeling agent turned presidential special envoy is threatening Melania Trump with legal action. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are, and who your husband is. Be careful with me, bitch.
Tell me, first of all, what your reaction was when you saw the First Lady's statement.
The First Lady stands out for the people. And of course, she has nothing to do with this, whatever criminal like this. I'm ready to testify in front of Congress if I'm asked and say the truth, because this is totally nonsense.
Zampoli, 56, who is Trump's special envoy for global partnerships, reached out to a top immigration and customs enforcement official last June to relay that Ungaro was in the country illegally. Yo, I'm Justin FREAKIN. Right-wingers keep trying to mock me for my sub and view count on YouTube, so I guess I'll be a good content creator and do what the algorithm gods demand and tell you to like the video. Or dislike it for all I care. I know I'm not a very likable personality. But if you do enjoy the vibes around here, be a good subby and seduce that subscribe button. And if you want to find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Troll Patrol Live, then be sure to hit that bell the way I would hit the bong.
Paulo Zampoli, who is now, in fact, a member of Trump's administration. Now, I know him a little bit. He's a fascinating character. He is used to work in the modeling world in New York, and without question would have been in Epstein's circle. But then so was Donald Trump, and so was Melania, and so were many other people. That doesn't imply wrongdoing. Paulo Zampoli is now a member of the administration, and when you see him, and I've met him on a number of occasions. I've had a drink with him, and he will tell you about the time he introduced Melania and Donald Trump. So that's the official story. And what Melania has now done is got out, perhaps ahead of stuff that she is worried about coming out, to tell everyone, this is nonsense. Be careful about what you believe. This is the truth. Listen to me. Very, very interesting. Do you know, Martha, very strangely, I was talking moments ago about Paulo Zampoli.
Yeah.
I just messaged him before we started recording this to see if he got any response to what's been going on. I hadn't expected he'd reply. I thought he was in Hungary, actually, because he was traveling with JD Vance to Hungary. He was part of that delegation. But he's just replied to me. And this is, a bit of breaking news, because he has told me that he is ready to testify before Congress to prove that he was the individual who introduced President Trump to Melania Trump. So that's fascinating. He's willing to go before Congress to prove that any suggestion that it was Epstein who introduced the Trumps is wrong, and that it was he that did that. So there you go. Fascinating.
An invitation to Congress live on Trump 100. Maybe they'll take him up on it, if he was in that circle. It was, I thought, interesting that she said, I wasn't friends with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, because you read, obviously very keen on a one-woman mission to distance herself.
Hang on. No, he's trying to call me now. Okay, I'm live on the podcast. Hi, Paulo. How are you? I'm actually in the middle of recording our podcast.
Patch him through.
Let's do it. Come on.
Tell me, first of all, what your reaction was when you saw the First Lady's statement.
The First Lady stands out for the people. And of course, she has nothing to do with this, whatever criminal like this. I'm ready to testify in front of Congress if I'm asked and say the truth, because this is totally nonsense.
So you're willing to testify in front of Congress to prove that you were the person that introduced Melania to Donald Trump?
As an American citizen, I'm here to say the truth without any problem.
Fascinating. Paulo, thank you very much, Paulo Zampoli. We'll speak soon. Oh, he's gone.
Fascinating.
There you go. That was a surprise. Fascinating. He has confirmed to us that he's willing to testify before Congress to prove that he was the person he couldn't quite tell us how he would prove it, but to prove that he's the person that introduced Melania and Donald Trump.
So yeah, it is possible that it is his wife that Melania is scared of. The man apparently called ICE as he was going through divorce proceedings with her. Who is Amanda Ungaro? What we know as Melania Trump speaks out on Epstein. The ex-girlfriend of a former modeling agent turned presidential special envoy is threatening Melania Trump with legal action while vowing to tear down the First Lady's corrupt system. Is Amanda Ungaro, a 41-year-old former model from Brazil, who threatened to upend the First Lady's life in a series of intensifying posts on X just hours before Trump on Thursday disavowed all ties to Jeffrey Epstein or knowledge of his crimes. I have nothing left to lose in my life, Ungaro posted on X early on Thursday. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. This is Ungaro with Paulo, who we just heard from. A minute earlier, Ungaro, the former partner of Trump ally Paulo Zampoli, vowed to expose the First Lady while invoking the president. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are, and who your husband is. And another reply to an archived post from Melania's former Flotist45 account. Ungaro vowed to take legal action against Trump and her pedophile husband while alleging long-standing ties to former model. I have known you for 20 years, Ungaro posted. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, but I am not part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. Newsweek, which could not independently confirm the authenticity of the allegations, reached out to Ungaro, who was deported to Brazil following her arrest on fraud charges last year in the White House for comment on Friday. Zampoli, 56, who is Trump's special envoy for global partnerships, reached out to a top immigration and customs enforcement official last June to relay that Ungaro was in the country illegally. Ungaro was later deported, which may have occurred regardless of Zampoli's involvement, but the matter underscored the lengths federal government officials will go to settle scores during the second Trump administration. Zampoli denied asking ICE to detain Ungaro or any other favors, insisting he wanted to learn more about her case. DHS officials said she had been detained and ultimately deported because of an expired visa and fraud charges. Zampoli and Donald Trump, fixtures in the New York City nightlife scene during the 90s, have repeatedly recalled how the modeling agent introduced him to Melania Noss at the Kit Kat Club in 1998 after recruiting her from Slovenia.
Like one it and one back, one more clip before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live, social fucking support and hit subscribe. Like one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for Justin Freakin.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm Justin Freakin.
Not high enough for this shit.